Welcome to CSL-LA. I'm Amy Steinberg, and I'm going to start our day with lighting up the world. I light up the world with my light. 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 Will you sing it with me? I light up the world with my light. Come on. I light up the world with my light. I light up the world with my light. I light up the world with my light. Now take a moment and think about somebody that you love and sing you. You light up the world with your light. I'm thinking of Reverend Keith. You light up the world with your light. You light up the world with your light. You light up the world with your light. Now for this last time, we're going to sing We, and we're going to be about this community, because community is even a bigger, brighter light. We light up the world with our 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 light. Bring it back to the I. I light up the world with my light. 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 I light it up, 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 I light up the world. I light it up, 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 I light up the world with my light.
And yes, indeed, you do light up the world with your light.
Thank you.
And that beautiful space. You're beautiful.
I know, it's just awesome.
Good morning to you, Amy Steinberg.
Good morning to you, Reverend Dr. Keith Cox.
And happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
You've already had a fabulous Sunday in progress as you're joining us today, not from your home in Asheville, but from a center. I think you said it's called Unity and Truth in Atlanta.
Spirit and Truth Sanctuary in Atlanta. And I was telling you, Dr. Keith, before that they are coining this phrase metacostal, which is basically metaphysics, but with that enthusiasm, you know?
I love that.
Yeah, it's fun.
How appropriate to be born out of the South for sure.
Exactly.
Metacostal. And you were there because you did a service this morning, but you also said this is one of the centers that is honoring the legacy and the life of Reverend Dr. Carlton Pearson, who passed away in the past few weeks, who was a groundbreaking individual in the traditional faith of Christianity, and African-American minister who took a stand on many of the former beliefs in regards to traditional Christianity, and was very inclusive and got him booted out of the church, if I recall correctly. And
That's right.
Stood his ground and created his own movement. And he was a man who was a renowned and incredibly successful televangelist, really, with a massive following in our country. And so he's being revered and honored and respected with his legacy in many different places in the South. He was laid to rest this week. He was a kind, gentle, loving soul. So today, let's honor his legacy of inclusivity, of honoring our individuality, and honoring the light of the divine. You welcomed us in today using that context, and let's honor his light as we continue today, as well as that of others who have passed this week, Sandra Day O'Connor, and the burying of the former First Lady, Rosalind Carter. So let's bring in those energies and those lights, that energy and the light of those individuals as we move on and do our service today. So speaking of light, is mine too bright in this room? So it's pretty bright and white in contrast of black and white. Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. We come together on this day, December 3rd in the year 2023, for our Sunday celebration service, our online Zoom environment, and or YouTube if you're joining us from there. We come together to remember that we indeed are the light of the divine, that we have the light of the divine, and we're here to shine that light that exists within us. And so let's remember to do that today as we open up and receive during this service the power and the presence of the only thing that there is, which is spirit. It exists by means of you, and it exists by means of me. We have the great opportunity in life to honor that energy by using our mind, our heart, our soul, and our being to not only be inclusive and honor the lives of others, but to use our light to the best of our ability. Our vision statement as a community is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. The original vision statement for our community was making a difference. This week, as I've reflected on that, I've realized that it's not just about making a difference in community, but making a difference in our own lives as to how we choose to know ourselves, both as human beings and divine beings, and use both, which are really one thing, in this intersectionality of them as we express life and participate in life as life shows up, to be the co-creators of life to the best of our ability so that it reflects our divinity, which includes the qualities of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. I'm going to put onto the screen now our opening slides, and I invite you to sit back and enjoy and receive and be grateful to be present today and to find the light that exists within. A big good morning to all of us as we see the light shine into and infuse this being on the screen. She's inviting in that act of namaste. The power of the divine in me honors and welcomes and acknowledges that within you. As a community, we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities. We stand with you, for you are indeed safe here. As I say every time we look at this graphic, almost an animated graphic on the screen, it just brings such joy to my mind and my heart and my being to look at the stamp of individuality that Spirit has placed upon each individual of life, and how blessed we are for us to all be different, that we're not the cookie cutter same in every aspect of life, physically, mentally, emotionally, that we're all unique expressions of the thing itself. And so let's honor each expression of life today and acknowledge and affirm together out loud, because our voice has power, what it says on the screen. We welcome one, and indeed we welcome all. If you're here for the first time, please know that you're honored and celebrated and welcomed and acknowledged for who you are as a being of the divine. And if you're one who's been coming for a year or 30 years, know that you too are welcome, honored, celebrated, and acknowledged for who you are. As a community that's been coming together for over 30 years, we teach primarily the science of mind. Science of mind is it's a way of life. It's an approach to living. It's a spiritual based philosophy, faith, and way of living. Its essence is that there's one activity taking place in life, that you and I individualize that activity through our thinking, our beliefs, our actions, our reactions, and our interactions with the very thing itself, that one thing. And that one thing, it matters not what we call it the thing itself, we call it source, we call it life, we call it power, and indeed we also call it God. God as a impersonal, non-human expression, energy of life that is indeed all exclusive because it's infinite by nature. It has no option but to be that. And it doesn't have the ability to be optional because it's impersonal. It's a creative force of energy itself, and that we individualize that. We live in a universe that is comprised of that energy, and this universe that we live in is governed by spiritual law. One of the most important things to understand and accept to the best of our ability more and more and more is that this law of life is a law of many different names: law of cause and effect, law of correspondence, law of attraction, But what's important to remember is this law is always in play. It too is impersonal. It responds to us based on our consciousness. Our consciousness is the totality of all things in mind. But to use that in a way that's effective for all of us is for us to pay attention to how we show up and live life and respond to life and engage in life, because it responds to us by corresponding to that state of being. Once again, our vision statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. I'd like for us to find that spiritual awakening by opening up to a ritual in the mornings. And this ritual is called Calling in the Light. And I'm going to get back to this place on my screen on my computer that just disappeared with it. But it'll come back because that's the way it works. Calling in the light. For so many of us, we've heard this ritual over and over and over again. We've participated in it over and over and over again. And let's hear it today as if it's building upon where we've heard it before, or as if we are hearing it for the first time. Calling in the light. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of light, which acknowledges that all peoples and all beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. As we light this virtual candle this morning, calling in the light, as we move into this season of light, we shall name this ceremony, this ritual, lighting the flames of faith. And so as we light a candle, a virtual candle, we do so honoring the Tao, which honors the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, that which is known as the natural way. As well, we light this candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. And we light it for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, of action, and of devotion. And Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. And continuing on the pathway of inclusivity, we light it for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion, and all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love, and all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and of peace. And for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And we also bring all of those together and remember that candle that we saw on the screen and define it as one, the healing candle. I ask you to take a moment and think of someone that you'd like to silently put into the light of the healing flame, which may include yourself, so that all may experience the eternal and everlasting love of the divine. Feel free to call their names out loud in the privacy of your own environment. I'd like to bring into mind all those whose lives have been affected by AIDS. I participated in the World AIDS Day service at Congregation Kolami on Friday evening. It was such a beautiful and moving experience. Let's bring to mind those as well. Looking into the light, let's affirm and know that the power of the divine is indeed a healing power. That it's one that is inclusive and infinite by nature, expressing itself in all of its totality and wholeness and perfection, right here, right now, by means of you and by means of me. We're going to continue and conclude this ritual by having Amy come on the screen and take us through the chant, O Holy Light.
Holy light, I am holy light, I am holy light, I am one with God. Sing it with me. Holy light, I am holy light, I am holy light, I am one with God, I am one with God. With God.
And so it is.
So it is.
That chant has such a resonance to it, Amy, that we can feel, I can feel, and I know that we all can, no matter where we are. It's important to remember that as we continue on this journey of finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, and to have those awakenings. And our teaching, an awakening is defined as a remembrance that we are one with the sea of consciousness, and that we are part of this infinite, immortal, all expressive power, the thing itself, and that everyone else is that as well. And I think that's a very ethereal, esoteric, mental thing, as well as it's something that can be so very tangible, moment by moment by moment, if we're willing to do our best to be open to that and receptive to it and feel it, and then use it. Right? At the World AIDS Day service on Friday evening, there's a quote in the building in the sanctuary that says, you are the light unto the world, with a capital YOU. And this gentleman who spoke of his journey with HIV and AIDS said that he had been coming there for so long, and he would see that, and with the uppercase YOU, that had always been referred to as the essence, the God, the thing itself. But he's realized in this place in his evolution and journey that it's that, but it's also you, and it's you, and you, and you, and you, and you are the light unto the world, right? And that was, you could tell it sparked something in the room. So today, I know that's what you and I are here to impart to the best of our ability, that spark for everyone to know that each one of us is that light unto the world, but to also honor and acknowledge that in everyone else. So I know that, speaking of that, you have a song for us. It's a fun song.
That's right. It was a request from Reverend Dr. Keith.
It is a request.
And this is one that we all know, right? And so I'm going to do a little weave in with a Ricky Byers song as well that we used to do at teen camp, right?
We did.
So if you know it, you're going to sing along with me, all right? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Come on. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now let's sing this. I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. See, 'cause this big heart of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I love the meeting chat. This big heart of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This big heart of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. You know why? Because I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. I said I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. Yeah, 'cause this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. That's fun,
So,
right?
so fun and so wonderful and so simplistic. And that's, I think, also stirs up. It stirred it up, girl.
Stirs it
That's what we
up.
want to do. We want it
And
to
this
stir.
big heart of mine, that verse is a Gino Walker. You know Gino Walker?
Well, I know Gino Walker.
Right? Is she amazing? Right?
She's fabulous.
She's the one that taught me that. So,
I love that. As you were doing that, I was making a big heart on my card.
oh,
So
I love
yes,
it.
me
All right, I'm
too.
excited to hear your message.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, my message today is really all about light, and I'm going to ask you to indulge me to use a slideshow that we've used years before, and it's really somewhat of a remedial message in regards to the science of mind. But I think it's so important that we open up to light in a new way and continue to do that. As I shared earlier, I had that experience this week, as others did, and I invite that for all of us. So I am going to begin that message with our multimedia as we begin to move into um, looking at light and indeed light. Our theme for the month, December 2023, is the miracle of light. You know, if we look at the term miracle in the metaphysical terminology, which is drawn from the Course in Miracles, a miracle is defined as a new perspective, a new way of seeing things, a new understanding. Today, I invite us all to be open to that new understanding, that new perspective, a new way of looking at light, both in the concept of real light, that which exists in radiance form, but that light that exists within you and within me. Each Sunday, we do a ritual called Calling in the Light. I'd like for us to look at it as the calling in the light consciousness, of consciousness, that awakening and remembrance to that which exists within us. It's a understanding of its both infinite by nature, it's cosmic energetically, and it's also that which is within us. It's the energy of the divine. And so today, let's choose to open, as we see on the screen, and allow ourselves to be infused with the light of consciousness, and a consciousness that reflects our divinity, whose qualities are peace, power, beauty, joy, love, life, wisdom, and indeed light. Light. What does light represent spiritually? Well, it's one of the most universal and fundamental symbols. And researching for today, I came across so many different spiritual um, traditions, philosophies, ways of looking at life that are all really focused on light. So many of them were focused on light in the sense of when the light in the universe, the physical form of light would show back up after having been gone for whether it was 12 hours or seemingly for months at a time. It was a miracle that that would happen. It was unexplainable for so many years. Today, we understand scientifically why the physical light of the universe exists, and we understand why we can indeed process that light. And we also can understand the power when we choose to use that light that is within us in a way that is effective in making a difference and shining that onto the world. Light in this context is the spiritual and it's the divine. It's the illumination and the intelligence of the thing itself. It's the source of goodness and the ultimate reality. And it accompanies transcendence into the nirvana of Buddhist doctrine. That nirvana is that ultimate state of mind. It is Christ consciousness. It is spiritual awakening. It's the highest level of that which exists on the map of consciousness. It is that which reflects our divinity. It's not solely a way of walking step by step by step in life on a daily basis, although we can do that. But it's about as we walk our humanity day by day, thought by thought, reaction by action by reaction and interaction, to remember and engage in that light which is within us, and indeed making a difference to shine our power onto the world in a way that illuminates the good. We're asked, what does it mean when someone says you are light? Amy just told us we're light. We know that. It may mean to give of yourself in a new way to a situation or cause or relationship that you're in. It may also mean to just be still and show that nothing really needs to be said at any given time until the time is right. It's that listening to the divine that is within us, that guide, if you will, that's there always. To be the light in life, to let this little light of mine shine, is to foster peace and to then show others that joy, as well as the other qualities of the divine, are indeed present in this very moment by means of me and by means of you, and that that is being honored. That's in the modern world, we use the term namaste for that. Its original meaning is I bow to thee. And so when we are going into that place of fostering peace and showing others that joy is present and we're honoring the light, it's bowing to that light that is within all beings itself. It's to be open to an illumination of what's real spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, intelligently, and the oneness of life itself. Dr. Holmes tells us that in flashes of illumination, the inspired have seen into the very center of reality and brought back with them a distinct impression of what they've seen and felt. A glimpse of this reality illumines the whole being with a flood of light. Every mystic has had this experience. I know that each one of us has had an experience or experiences in life where we feel and see this illumination of life itself, of tapping into the source of that cosmic force that gives us life itself. I've had many in my life, and I recall two specifically in Africa, one out on safari and watching hippos in the water and the light come down and hit the water, this color of purple illuminating. But I also remember standing in the center of a group of children in Malawi and the second school we ever built there, and just with chanting and music happening, feeling this immersion into the soil and the energy of the one thing, not only doing its thing through me, but through everyone there. I've had that when I look into the eyes of loved ones or my four-legged spiritual offspring, as well as through music. It's the interconnectedness that he speaks of when the mystics have this experience. Mysticism is living life through and as the oneness that exists. And that's what I am inviting each and every one of us to invite in as a practical approach of life as we continue on our journey every day of finding personal self empowerment through a spiritual awakening. To not look at that spiritual awakening as a nirvana, a one time experience that is to hold on to for the rest of our life, but to invite in a constant awakening, a continual awakening and reawakening, and letting that help us build a foundation so that we're more tuned into it as it shows up, and more tuned into the energy of attracting that into our world and allowing the healing within ourselves to happen. And that is through the act of revealing the light itself and understanding the interconnectedness of it all on the journey of life itself. And with the intention of knowing that we are indeed finding empowerment on that journey. It's to honor the perfection and the wholeness and the completeness that already exist. We don't have to create it. It's about revealing that which already is. Now, I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it because I think it's so true for each of us, is that we look at that concept as this ethereal concept that's beyond our reach so often in this teaching. And we use it as a mantra without really diving into breaking it down and grasping it as an everyday, every moment reality, while it is also evolving. Our understanding and acceptance is evolving into a higher framework of consciousness in regards to it. That the perfection and the wholeness and the completeness already exist where you are right now. Louise Hay, the great spiritual teacher and author and transformative life person, says, in the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. She invites us to affirm that together. I invite you to affirm that with me right now, out loud as you can, wherever you are. Together, here we go. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. Now accept that as reality. And let's break it down. What is perfection? It's the real state of being. It's complete so that nothing is wanting. Imagine that as we just made that affirmation by Louise Hay, when we realize that where I am right now is perfection, wholeness, and please, that where I am, I meaning each one of us, where we are right now, nothing is wanting. Whatever may be showing up in the physical realm of life that is giving us the energy of it wanting, needing to be accomplished, acknowledged, addressed, perceived, that we're at the very core, nothing's wanting. We have it all already. We have that within us to deal with the experiences, the effects of life that are before us. We're whole. When we speak of the whole, we're speaking of God, the divine source. Human self-knowing mind is their perception of reality, meaning that we not only, at this very present moment, what we know in mind is our perception of what's our spiritual reality, but we also can fine-tune that. We can change it. We can make a choice. We can tune into and allow it to be revealed through us that which is our spiritual truth, which includes peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And we radiate that and can radiate it more and indeed make a difference in life because of our choices and because we live in a universe whereby that which is the totality of our being attracts back into our experiences more and more of that which it is. Which means that all of this is indeed complete as is. The great David Hawkins, Dr. David Hawkins, the creator of the map of consciousness and many other incredible works, tells us in regards to it being complete that anything could stop at any moment and be complete. I recall being with Dr. Walker at one point and all of a sudden getting this, of that which we are as divine beings is complete as is, because there's nothing to be added and nothing to be taken away, because in this field of energy that is life itself, by which light expresses itself, it's infinite, meaning that everything that can be or will be already exists, which is also true in mind. Then if we desire to express that, it's to bring it through the channel of our mind. Let it rise up from the inside out and express itself, as opposed to us trying to take it from the outside and bring it in. To let our light shine. This quote tells us that although many of us hear the call of our inner desires and dreams, it's often difficult to find the path forward of our own awakening. Learning to explore deeply is the key to opening the ultimate possibility of your life. Your internal awakening opens the door to a truly unimaginable possibility. When one learns to explore deeply and commits to that journey, your true power and gifts begin to reveal themselves, and the meaning in and of life is revealed. Today, one of the primary reasons I wanted us to go back to the basics here and look at this remedial approach to science of mind and light and life is so that we all have a recommitment to our journey. Not judging any of us where we are or questioning where we might be, just know that in this moment we can make a recommitment to the journey, to continue to explore deeply and to be open to what the meaning in and of life is for ourselves individually and the totality of life. To begin to open up, as I've said in the last few months, to begin to imagine again what is possible, to allow spirit to reveal itself through us without us feeling as if we have to mechanically make it happen. To live in that moment of healing, the revealing of the oneness of life, by letting our light shine. My acronym for light, which we've heard time and time and time again, but may be new for someone here today, and I invite you to let it be new for you right now, is living in God's healing truth. And let that mean for you whatever it may mean. For me, what that means is I'm perfect, I'm whole, I'm complete, as is. And then as I open up to and experience and express that perfection, that wholeness and that completeness, that it reveals itself through me, and therefore I desire more of that. So my role and responsibility is to make a commitment to stay on this journey, to make a commitment to be open to my own personal spiritual awakening, and to see that and experience that and express that in other words. In other words, to live in the light. It's by living in the light that we open ourselves up to be brave, to have the courage to live from the heart, to illuminate our pathway in a different way than we did the day before. I love this quote from Atticus that says, "There's nothing so brave in the whole wide world as a candle daring to live on in the wind." We understand that intellectually. We also understand that personally. And let's remember that today, no matter how hard the wind is blowing as our flame continues to flicker, that the light's here. And no matter how many times it feels like we have to strike that match or click that clicker, that the light's still there. It's awaiting that spark for it to reveal itself. It's that remembrance that I invite for each of us to have right now as a personal light bulb moment. To just accept that reality in a new way, that the spark of the flame, it's always there. It's always there. It's always there. No matter what life has been like up until this moment, and no matter how it's going to be from this moment forward, that it's there. And it's there both as light, but it's also there as power. It's a limitless power that is lying in smiling repose, if you will, waiting for us to call upon it and use it and allow it to do its thing unencumbered by means of you and by means of me. It's about awakening to the illusion that it's somewhere else, that it's within us. It's that oneness of life itself. It's moving into a realm of cosmic consciousness. The great Dr. Barbara Marx Hubbard tells us that cosmic consciousness is living life not from ego, but from the essence of life itself. In other words, by letting that internal, the internality of the eternality guide us through life. And yes, we're here to speak our truth, to express our individuality, to do what serves our heart and our soul. All of that is true. But for that to be driven, to be led by our essence, the light, the energy of the divine itself, we all know that when we release and let go, that spiritual awakening is right there for us, that remembrance that we live in a sea of consciousness that is infinite by nature, and it's that which is you, and it is me. And that we can attract more and more and more into our life, and to remember that the very things that we seek is seeking us. How many times have we all heard that before? But let's let today be the day where we hear it anew. Hear it from a new framework of mind. Hear it from a place of seeking to be willing to have a new adventure in regards to this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. And to know that as we're letting it shine, the very things that we desire from an emotionality perspective of life, as well as from a physicality perspective in life, is moving towards us magnetically right now. And that we have clarity around having clarity in regards to it coming our way and our receptivity to it as we allow it to show up and embrace it and experience and engage in it and stay tuned into it being the right fit as long as it's the right fit. And then having the willingness and the intentionality and the wisdom to let it go when that fit is no longer, knowing that as we do so, there's more and more and more coming because it is indeed infinite and it's all energy. Einstein tells us it's all energy. And we all know that intellectually as well as we know that experientially. And today is the day that we get to open up and know it even in a new way because there's a law of this oneness of life itself. And the law of divine oneness is the foundational law, according to which absolutely everything in our universe is interconnected. In other words, every choice, word, desire, and belief you have will also have an impact on the world and the people in your life. Sometimes this impact will be immediate and obvious. At other times, it may take a while to manifest, or you may never even discover that it's occurred. That's okay. Try to think of yourself as part of everything around you to live in accordance with this law. That's where the adventure begins. We're all one, and awareness of this makes us more powerful as well as more empathetic. Today, let's begin to see life anew with a new set of eyes, the eyes of the divine, and be happy about the adventure before us. And to remember that as we peer into the cosmic nature of that which exists within us and outside of us is not separate, it's all simply one thing. And if it had the ability to yearn, it would be yearning to give of itself in greater and greater and greater ways through us. Let's say yes to that and to remember that we have a unified connection of innate oneness. It's when we can bridge the chasm that's been created by our individuality and differences appearing as actual separation, that we will see and treat all people as ourselves and operate in a functional unity. Functional unity being the key. to it all. And to remember that you were and are part of all humanity, the whole of life, connected with everything, before you learn to perceive any separation from it. You and I operate through perception. We know that. Thus, our functional perspective represents how connected or separate we perceive as our concept of self. Today, let's make a commitment, even a recommitment, to shift that perception and the concept of ourselves and all selves, to allow the innate oneness of life that exists within us to not only radiate but manifest and emanate from us as the oneness itself, to be a walking, talking, expressive mystic. The great Eckhart Tolle tells us you cannot fight against the ego and win, just as you cannot fight against darkness. The light of consciousness is all that is necessary. That's the essence Barbara Marx Hubbard spoke of, to let draw us and express us as light. Tolle tells us you are that light, and so am I. Today, let's raise our awareness to the light that exists. And as we move towards, in the Northern Hemisphere, the darkest day of the year, let's embrace that as part of the natural unfolding of nature itself. But to remember, even before that physical light begins to return the next day, greater than it was the day before, that at all times it is there, waiting to be called upon, to be expressed, to be shined and shown as you and as me. We do that through the belief in oneness, through acting upon that belief and letting the law of life respond to that belief. Ryan Jordan tells us the belief in oneness changes nothing, but being oneness changes everything. Today, you and I get to ask ourselves, what step can we make today to live in oneness and to let our light shine? Allow that answer to show up, to reveal itself. It might do that right now. It might do that throughout the day. But what is for sure, it always will, because the moment is awaiting its recognition. Eckhart Tolle also tells us that the truth is that the only power there is contained within the moment. It's the power of your presence. And most humans are never fully present in the now because unconsciously they believe that the next moment must be more important than this one. But then you miss your whole life, which is never not now. And that's a revelation for some people, to realize that your life is only ever now. I know and affirm for you, as I do for me, that right now we let our light shine. And then we let it shine in the moment of now. And then we let it shine in the moment of now. Thank you. Continue to let your light shine and know that you are indeed loved. And so it is. Namaste. Amy's going to come back and take us on a journey of another song.
Well, that was awesome. I loved the images, and I said to Reverend Keith that I was going to write something on the spot based on what I just heard. So I've been writing down some notes, and I'm going to call this Let There Be Light. Let there be light in my life. Let there be light in my life. Nothing needs to be said. Just listen to the inner guide, yeah. Follow the way of peace and honor the divine. Oh, let there be light in my life. Let there be light in my life. Tap in to the illumination force, and then notice the feeling of being immersed in source. Oh, invite the mystical place, the healing, revealing, being awake. Well, let there be light in my life. Let there be light in my life. Let there be light in my life. Whoa, whoa, let there be light. All is perfect, all is perfect, whole and complete. All is perfect, whole and complete. I'll do that again. All is perfect, whole and complete in you and me. Oh, 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 oh. Let there be light in my life. Let there be light in my life. Living in God's healing truth, living in the goodness of you, living in the light of clarity. The light lives as you and me, yeah. Living in the healing truth, living in the goodness of you, living in the light of clarity. The light lives in you, lives in me. So let there be light in my life, and let there be light in your life too. Let there be light in my life. It is the only truth. Let there be light. I love it. Thank you for helping me write a new song.
You're welcome. Thank you for allowing Spirit to move through you to do that. What an incredible example of what I was just talking about, of living in the moment of the now and letting it rise up through you.
I love it.
You just allowed it. You
Thank you.
shined your light
I've got it written down.
Oh, good. Good. Well, thank you, thank you, and thank you. And thank you for being here today.
My
And
pleasure.
so excited that
Always.
you're on this journey of where you're at and getting to do what you did in Atlanta today. How long are you going to stay in Atlanta?
I'm going to be hopping on the road to head back up to Asheville right after this with you.
Uh-huh. Oh, fabulous.
Yep,
Headed
just a
home,
quick
huh?
trip.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you to Amy Steinberg for being here and for shining her light and giving of her soul and her light to the universe itself. And a big thank you to each one of you for being here today. Reminder that we're back in person next Sunday in our home, at Congregation Kol Ami at 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California. It is our holiday service, and I invite you all to please come and bring a friend. Two of our members has been updating me throughout the week of all the people she's calling and bringing, and it's going to be a lovely time together. And how wonderful it would be for us to be all together in that room and to feel the presence shared together of the light of the divine that's expressed by means of you and by means of me. We have wonderful musicians, Ray Davis and Arne Batson, who will be there performing with us and taking us on a sing along and celebrating the light of the divine. It's also Hanukkah, and so it's going to be a good time. And there'll still be the World AIDS Day quilt, a panel from the AIDS quilt there. So we're going to honor that. It'll be a really lovely celebration service. And so I invite you and remind you and encourage you to please be there and to bring loved ones with you to share what it is that we are here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. Watch for emails that'll go out regarding that this week, along with our weekly e-newsletter, the new thought text for the day that goes out, and our midweek morning meditation that takes place every Wednesday morning at 8:30. You can find all of that information on our website as well as on our app in the App Store. And we are on all social media sites as well. So you can find all of that information technologically there for us. I'd also like to thank Travis Smith, our audio technician, who always does such a wonderful job and stepped right in this morning and helped Amy do what she needed to do with that new setup where she was at today, get it in play, and it all worked out perfectly as we all witnessed and experienced. So thank you for that, Travis. A big thank you to Robert Hensley, who is our administrative assistant and social media dude, who does the work that he does, and he's doing that, I believe, from Pennsylvania at the time. So we are indeed coming from all places doing what it is that we are doing to share who we are as a community and to celebrate you and to support you celebrating yourself. I'm going to put on the screen right now the opportunity to support us financially, and know that that is appreciated. If you would like to do that, you can go to our website, csl-la.org, and click on donate. You can go to the app in the App Store. It's not clicking on the upper left bars now, but you click on our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. There's a donate tab right on the screen, or you can mail in a check, and our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038. Know that your financial support is acknowledged, it's welcomed, it's celebrated, and we are a tithing community, and 10% of all that comes in goes back out. Once again, I invite you to do that at this moment, and let's affirm together that we are consciously awake and alert, and that which we give returns to us multiplied abundantly. And so we give with an open hand and open heart, not a clenched fist. All is well, and so it is. We're going to close out today with Amy taking us on a sing-along of the song Love Is My Decision. I invite you to sing along and to feel that. You might even supplant the word light is my decision as well in it. And just know that that is this act of singing along kicks into gear along with everything else we've heard today, us being more consciously and awake and alert as we move into this season of the mystical nature of life itself, of light and the oneness of life itself, and give ourselves a break to be kinder and gentler to ourselves, to hold those that you love dear in your heart, to reach out and let people know that you love them. Those that are in need of healing, let's affirm that for them. Our beloved Wendy Waris is home and doing well. I saw her this week, and let's continue to affirm perfect health for her on her journey post-surgery. And understanding is our wonderful Andy Belling is doing better and better day by day, and Sherry Robb is in healing, and we affirm that for Robert Block and each one of you, Ted Sprague, that everyone is in this act of healing right now, revealing the oneness of life itself, and the light of God is shining with you. Amy's going to close us out. After that, we're going to say goodbye to those of you that are on YouTube and welcome and honor you for being here. And then those of you that are here on Zoom, if you'd like to say a brief hello, we'll have the option to do that. Amy, take us away, and we affirm a safe journey for you back to the land of Asheville.
Thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure to be with you as always. Let's sing Light is My Decision. Light is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Light is my decision, and no one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Light is my decision. It's my decision right here and now. Let's sing that last part one more time. It's my decision right here